Scott McLaughlin, driver of the number 3 Team Penske Chevrolet, 85 starts, 7 wins, 11 poles, 31 top fives, 52 top tens, 3-time Australian V8 Supercars champion, winner of the 2019 Bathurst 1000, and face of the Thirsty Threes. Thank you so much for joining me.
Captain. Yeah, no. No, but yeah, thank you, James. Great to be with you.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you again. Are we live right now?
Are we? I mean, yeah, we can be. No, like, well, that was a funny one, wasn't it? Like that was, I literally, if you watch the video, like I love Josh Allen. So like, I'm not a Bills fan, but I'm a big Josh Allen fan. I just think he's a stud,
Yeah.
and I think he's like the golden retriever of quarterbacks. Like he's just like everyone loves the guy. You know, he's
Yeah.
just like a lovable dude. Anyway, when I saw him do that, I was like, oh, we got to do it somehow, and I didn't have the nuts to do it. And my PR guy, or my guy that looks after my social and a few things, Brian Simpson, he's like, dude, do it. Like it'd be funny. And I'm like,
so
I'll get in
funny.
trouble. And then yeah, it worked out good. So I made the decision to do it. Literally walk into that interview, and he's like, you won't do it. And I was like, beer? He's like, yeah, we better beer.
That's so funny. There's a great side-by-side video of you and then Josh Allen doing it on Facebook that I found, which was so funny.
I think he did it better though. He did. His one was just a lot more like spur of the moment. I felt like you could see mine was a bit more like I like preempted it, yeah, sort of way. But Dylan, well, she was like, he looked at me like I was having it like a stroke. It was bad.
I recently talked to you. I was recently in Austin for the USGP for Formula One, and I got an opportunity to meet Daniel Ricciardo for 5 to 10 minutes, and he talked to me about, because I brought up the Indy 500, I brought up IndyCar, and he talked to me about meeting you at the Super Bowl a few years ago.
We were well, was it Super Bowl? I think it might have been the Waste Management Open. We were
Was
hanging
it?
out, but
Maybe he confused the two, but yeah.
maybe, yeah, I don't know. But we've crossed paths a couple of times, and probably more so in Australia because when the Australian Grand Prix happened, I was racing supercars on the same event, so I sort of like crossed paths. But super nice dude, and we haven't. I would love to have a beer with him. I haven't had a beer with him yet. So.
Yeah, he said the last time he saw you, he lost his voice.
Yeah, and like so he couldn't talk.
He felt terrible because he wanted to talk to you, but he couldn't talk.
I think he must have had a bender the night before or something, and he couldn't talk. But I know his manager or management guy, Blake, really well, and from Supercars, and he's a great dude. So it was cool to see those guys.
That's awesome. Now you've had a busy off season. You just spent a decent amount of time back home, both in Australia and New Zealand. You were born in New Zealand, but then you moved to Australia when you were 9. So a bit going back home, but going to 2 different places. You also went to Japan and drove on the iconic Suzuka circuit. I would love to hear about both trips, but first, you went to Suzuka to race in the Suzuka 1000 km or 1000 kilometer, which is part of the Intercontinental GT Challenge, correct?
Yep.
Finished on the podium, 3rd overall, driving a Corvette GT3 for JMR. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Second of all, I would love to hear in your words what it was like driving at Suzuka, but also what the overall experience was like going to Japan.
Just incredible, man. And it's been a bucket list thing for me since I was really a kid. Like, I just love that place, love Japan, always wanted to go there, never have. And then to have the opportunity with GM and Corvette and to go over there and race with Nicky Kasperg, Alex Sims, and JMR, like a great team. Really, really fun. And those dudes that I drove with, Nicky, and Nicky's one of the funniest dudes I've ever met. Alex is super dry humor as well. We had an absolute blast, and we found this really cool like sushi joint down the road, and like the chef couldn't, like, it was small, like real tiny, and like he couldn't really speak English, but we like did a bit of Google Translate, and which is like, phenomenal. That Google Maps, Google Translate. I don't know how people got around before that, but we got beautiful nigiri and unreal. Had a couple of Sapporos, like beautiful stuff, and then we went on the track. That track is unreal. That's everything I thought it was going to be. 130R, like it's a proper corner. You know, the fast left-hander out the back.
Yeah.
It's like even in the Corvette, like every time I went through that corner, like I was like nervous, like not nervous, but I was like, you know, this is gonna be pretty sketchy, and I thought it was gonna be easy flat. So, it was really really cool to try it.
And what were, besides of course racing at Suzuka, iconic circuit, what was the highlight of the trip for you?
I think just how safe it is, man. Like
Yeah.
just so like the Japanese are so nice. You know, they're very hospitable and just super nice people. And
Yeah.
I've never heard like they a lot of them say sorry for, and they're not even they shouldn't even say sorry. Like they're so polite. Like it's
Yeah.
incredible. Like I had actually good story. I dropped my train ticket that cost about like. I don't know, it was like 250, $300, like
Yeah.
because it was a round trip, and I dropped it on the ground. I was lining up for a new one, and this security dude or Japanese person said someone handed it in and gave me the ticket that I dropped on the ground. Like I thought it
Oh
was
my
gone. I was going
gosh.
to spend another $300, and like apparently this is just a normal thing. Like you could leave your wallet on the train and be fine. Like, it's nuts. It's
Yeah.
nuts.
There's also something incredibly wholesome about Japanese motorsport fans. They
Yes.
just really love being at
Oh,
the track and seem to like want to support anyone and everyone that's racing in any series.
yeah, and you get gifts like they thank you for signing their stuff, which is incredible. Yeah, look, I had a lot of support there. There's a lot of IndyCar merch out there, which was really cool. A lot of supercars merch from back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to go back to Japan and race again. Like that'd be unreal.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to you about, this is a segue. I'd love to talk to you about the YouTube series that you do called Locked In.
Hmm.
Um, I watched the Suzuka episode last week. I really really enjoyed it. Also watched the Nashville one. What was the inspiration behind this YouTube series, and how has the reception been since you started doing it?
The inspiration is probably because I just didn't really do much in that platform,
Yeah,
and I figured it was going to be pretty similar to what you see on other stuff, but I just wanted to be a little bit more raw, like a little bit less like, oh, hey, we're going to the track now, like come get a coffee, like less of that, a bit more like, yo, we're in the game, like behind the scenes, like, you know, why was I pissed off with Dev when he took me out at thermal, and like, you know, I knew that a lot of the days that it was negative, like a bad result, I knew that would be the harder ones because like I still, you know, I wear my heart on my sleeve, but you can't
yeah,
shy away from the camera. Like you can't just go, yo, like I'm not doing locked in today because like it just doesn't work like that. So it was a bit of a commitment from me to go, okay, this is for my fans, to give my fans a bit more of a, and for IndyCar in general, to give
hmm
people a bit more behind the scenes and in real time, and good or bad, you know, I wear my heart on my sleeve and it works out good.
yeah. This was I'm sure you would agree this was a very challenging season for
Yeah.
both Team Penske and for yourself. You know, you
Hmm.
started pretty strong, another podium at Barber. You also ended very strong, but in the middle, um,
Yeah.
it was super challenging for you. Was there ever a moment where you thought you were not going to allow yourself to be open and vulnerable to your fans and maybe take a break from Locked In, or were you like, no, I want fans to see both the good and the bad?
But I wanted people to see that,
Yeah,
and I never thought once that this was bad for me. I actually, if anything, like I genuinely felt like it was nice to talk to someone straight away. Like even though I'm just talking to a camera, like I'm
yeah,
like I've had like very raw in a lot of moments.
yeah.
And it was I felt like it was kind of like a therapy session some days. So. Um, yeah, I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to expand on it a little bit more. I don't really have content to show during the off season. I'm just sort of hanging out at home, but you know, I'll kick it back going at the start of the year, and hopefully we can have some good results.
Yeah. Your daughter recently turned 1 this month.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
How is fatherhood treating you?
Yeah, I love it. Like it's
Yeah.
been awesome. You know, she again, that's another shining light to my what was a pretty average year, you know, like she was
Yeah.
just incredible. And you know, especially like, you know, say Indy, you know, where it crashed on the warm-up lap, you know, you sort of I walked back in the bus and I saw her and she didn't care. You know, she was just so happy to see me. She's like, far out, like you're here, you're back early. but
Yeah.
but you know, like ultimately, um, so like just it's been amazing, and the ride's been great. She was a fantastic baby going across to Australia. Like it's a long journey. It was I mean, door to door, it was like 35 hours, you know.
Yeah.
But we did stop off in LA before we went to Australia,
Oh,
just
nice.
because it just broke the trip up a bit. But she's been incredible. My wife's been incredible. I'm very lucky, and it's been great.
I loved the video of the side by side you did showing her crashing into the dishwasher paired with
Yeah.
your onboard from the Indy 500. Like, I know that is a moment that you probably want to avoid reliving,
Yeah.
but given where your head was at that day on the 500 to now, for you to have such an incredible sense of humor about it, I feel like shows, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it shows that you're just focused looking forward and you're not dwelling on the past. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, no, you know, it was really tough in the moment, and probably for months after. You look back on it now, like I still haven't watched the race. I don't want to watch the race because I just know that I'm a big part of the start, and that sucks. And but you know, at the same time, like I laugh about it. Like it was probably the stupidest thing I've done, or most silliest moment it's ever happened to me. But you know, ultimately everyone makes a mistake, and honestly, that was just something that got from under me. And as long as my family, my team, and everyone's behind me, there's no point looking backwards. Just get going.
Okay, next up, the Australian motorsport community recently lost an incredibly prominent figure, an icon in supercars, your old boss, Garry Rogers. First of all, I'm so sorry for your loss. You started driving for Garry Rogers Motorsport full time in 2013 and drove for his team for 4 years, I believe.
Yep.
Can you just, would you be willing to briefly talk about like how his role impacted like your career and your development as a driver in supercars when you were still racing in Australia?
Yeah. Look, Gary was he was the one that really gave me my shot. I mean, no one. I had no ride in 2013. I just won the championship in 2012 for the I guess you could say like the Indy Next equivalent.
Yeah.
And I had no ride, and Gary was renowned for giving young guys a go. And yeah, I managed to sign a deal with him late, a 1 year deal with him late in 2012, and he's a pretty eccentric fella, and but he's such a he played such a prominent role in my life. Up until he passed. I mean, I talked to
Yeah.
him close to every couple of weeks. Um, just a super very valuable person to my career and my life, and even just with like dad stuff. He's also like the guy that he would never pump me up, but he'll never punch me down when things went bad either. He was just the
Yeah.
most level-headed type dude. But yeah, massive loss for the community. And yeah, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be in this position. And I signed the deal to drive for Penske in 2017, and into 2016, and I've never been so nervous going to an office and asking him, like, I was telling him that wasn't signing his deal, I was going to Penske, but he was nothing but like, that's a great move. I'm really happy for you. As much as I'm sad, I want you to be here. Like, this is huge for your career, not only here in Australia, but potentially in the US. And he knew that ultimately I wanted to go to the US one day. And yeah, it's a testament to the bloke's character. He was a dodgy used car salesman, but he was a bloody good bloke. And yeah, we'll never forget him. But it's definitely going to be a great motivating thing for me next year. Like I just really want to do it for him, and I'm excited for that.
I think that's awesome. A good segue here. I want to talk about this leap of faith you made when you made the transition from supercars to IndyCar. You were a 3-time champion in Australian supercars, had won the Bathurst 1000, which is essentially their version of the Indy 500. You could have easily sort of just kicked back, rest on your laurels, continued to lean into your success there. But when you made this transition to IndyCar, to open wheel racing, were you nervous? Were you scared? Was there ever any moment of doubt whether you were making the right decision or not?
Uh, no, I've always trusted the process. Like Penske and Roger and Tim at the time were been so good with me, and putting me in the right spots at the right times. So I trusted that what they saw in me was enough for them to they had to invest a lot of money in for me to come across. They ran an extra car. There was budget shortfalls because I didn't quite have. I wasn't known over here as much as I guess I am now. So it was a tough like start to the year, but definitely halfway through the first year, I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like I left like you said, like I could have just sat there and won another championship or been close to it and been doing what I knew, but for me, once I'd won a championship in Bathurst, like it was, I'm the type of guy that once I've done something, I want to try what's next, what's next on the agenda, and that's it's always been who I am, and I think that comes from my family, I guess. But yeah, it was the right opportunity at the right time to try something different. Everyone thought I was probably going to go NASCAR. Honestly, I did as well. But when Penske, when Roger and the whole team basically put Indy to me, I was like, it made a lot of sense. Like outside of driving an open wheeler compared to touring car, like the way the cadence of the season, it's not quite as busy as a NASCAR schedule. I get to race in the best and the biggest race of the year, the Indy 500.
Yeah.
To have that opportunity to do that and try something completely different was so refreshing. Um, I probably didn't realize how hard it was going to be to learn the car and understand aerodynamics and what it all takes on an oval. But I come into my sixth season now, and I don't look back. It's a crazy, like this is my sixth season in IndyCar coming up,
Yeah.
and I did 7 seasons full time in main series and supercars. So it's nearly taken up half my career, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. You talked about the difference in the dynamic between drivers in IndyCar and drivers in supercars in an interview that you did with Romain Grosjean a few years back, saying that you felt like in supercars, more or less, there was a little bit more jealousy in the paddock there compared to IndyCar. And in IndyCar, it's easier to form friendships with the drivers you're competing against.
Yeah.
Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, there was no. I felt there was a lot of like BS behind your back, in Australia. Like, everyone's trying to, and I get it, like from a competitive standpoint, get an upper hand politically. It's very political back home, which is sad, and it's
Yeah.
political here. But at the same time, if you've got a problem with someone, I feel like everyone's a bit more like straight up, and they'll just go up to a pit box and then you shake hands and you have a beer after in the bus lot and you get going, and then like there's no hard feelings. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of that also has to do with we race each other wheel to wheel at 240 mile an hour, 230, 240 mile an hour. So you've got to have somewhat trust, and you can't have this thought thinking, oh, this guy could just open the wheel and put me in the fence, because it could really wreck. It could be really dangerous. So there's probably a part of that plays a little bit compared to supercars, but yeah, it was. Look, I love my time in supercars, but I probably didn't enjoy it off track as much as I enjoy IndyCar.
Yeah. While this was a challenging year for you on track, you still had 6 top 5 finishes, 9 top 10s. You had an incredible comeback drive in Iowa race 1, finishing P4 after starting 27th in the very
Yeah.
back. You had a great podium at Barber, finished on the podium the last 2 races of the season. You got to shoot a hot dog gun and throw the first pitch at an Iowa Cubs game.
Yeah.
Can't think of anything more American than that. Because
And
more
I become an
importantly, this was
American
your first
citizen.
year. Exactly. That's what I was going
Yeah.
to bring up. I was like,
Awesome.
this was your first year of fatherhood, and you
Yeah.
just became an American citizen. First of all,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you.
And second of all, like, why was becoming a dual citizen and becoming an American citizen important to you?
I think when my daughter was born, I was like, I feel left out. Both my girls are American citizens, and I was like, stuff it, like I owe this country a lot, and I don't see myself leaving this country even, after my racing career is finished. I'm very excited for the future. I'll never forget my home in New Zealand and Australia, but to have the opportunity to be a dual citizen of 2 countries that I love, New Zealand and America, it's a big thing. And yeah, so it was really cool. The test was interesting. The questions that we got on an interview with me and Carly, like just determining that we were real. And I think Lucy helped that as well. Like we took Lucy into the interview and like, well, we have a kid, like we have a
Sure.
baby. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
we're not joking. Um, and yeah, we did like you do the 100 questions, or it's 100 questions, and they ask you 10 random ones from that 100, and you've got to get six right. So I aced that. Oh, well, they asked me 6 questions, and then they moved on to the next deal. So I knew that I sort of aced it. But yeah,
So
that
you
was
didn't
probably the most
they didn't
stressful
ask you
part.
the full 10. They just asked you 6, you got them right, and that was
Yep,
the part of the test.
and move
Okay.
on. Yeah, this guy's legit. So but I studied like I remember. Month of May, I'm driving to PR gigs, and I had on the car like a podcast that would like ask me the questions because it's verbal. It's not like multiple choice. So I'd ask me the questions, and I'd say the question, and then I'd know and then it would say, 1776 or something, like, and you would like answer
Yeah.
all that. So there's like, it's like how many House of Representatives are there? 435, and then you see if that's right. And then there's a lot of questions on there that my friends were like, "Dude, I don't even know that." So it's kind of crazy, like how it works.
I probably wouldn't be able to answer most of those questions.
Uh, People do.
Before studying for the citizenship test, when was the last time you had studied for a test?
Oh, I left school at the end of 10th grade, so I
Yeah.
can't. I don't know. I go a long time ago, man. Probably like 2008.
Yeah. Um, so you were born in New Zealand, but moved to Australia when you were 9, correct?
Yep. Hmm.
You started racing karts when you were 6, but just as in a general sense, what was your childhood like? Did your parents come from a motorsport background?
So my mum and dad raced before I was born, but
Yeah.
only as a hobby. Like they just raced go-karts. And the whole
Yeah.
reason I got into go-karting was my dad like big into hot rods and cars and whatnot. I had a couple and I remember we went to a car show and I was like 6 at the time and we went past a go-kart stand and the next day was a have a go day at the local go-kart track where you go out and you drive someone else's go-kart and basically get introduced to the sport. Great way to get people into the sport. And yeah, Dad was like, "Hey, we did this. Would you want to have a go?" And 6 years old, I would have jumped out of an airplane probably. Like you don't really know what's good or what's bad, so I
Sure.
just sort of, yeah, I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And the rest is history. Bought a go kart that day, loved it, and never forget.
At that point, when you first jumped into the go kart at 6 years old, was there any other sport that you wanted to pursue or play, or did you know right off the bat like this is what I want to do?
No, I really like rugby. I played rugby when I was a kid. I played nearly every sport, growing up. It was, and then still today, I play a lot of sport. I love sport. Basketball, cricket, I played Australian football, tennis, like everything you can think of. Mum and dad were always busy taking me, well, one from the go kart race, and then on Mondays I'd have like cricket practice, and then Saturday Friday night I would have like a rugby game, and I was always pretty full on. But then I had to give up a lot of that because I got injured, and this was later on in my career, but it was like a pretty pivotal time. I got injured, and Dad was like, "That's enough. We're not doing any more ball sports. You're done." So, yeah, so that was part of it, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. You still get to play a lot of golf though.
Oh yeah, I only took golf up when I was 16, and I did that purely to meet sponsors, and that is actually how I met Garry Rogers because I
Oh wow.
my sponsor at the time he paired us up to play a scramble,
Hmm.
and after that day he gave me a test in his car, and then I went good, and he gave me and then I drove for him. So I owe the game of golf really my racing career, if anything.
That's amazing.
Well, for me, when can you spend 4 hours with a very powerful CEO or individual of whatever it is, and just I feel like you know a lot about someone's character out on the golf course. If they're swearing, if they're blowing up, and I mean, I blow up and I swear on the golf course, no doubt. But if they can have the ability to figure it out and move on to the next hole and still hold a conversation, I think it's a very good judgment of character, that game.
Agreed. Well, what I love about you is that you have a ton of interest outside of racing. You're a big golfer, as we just talked about. New York Knicks fan, New York Mets fan, Carolina Panthers fan. The Knicks made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last season, lost to IndyCar's hometown Indiana Pacers.
Yeah.
I'm going to curse here. Did you get a lot of shit for being a Knicks fan during that series?
Man, dude, I'm talking like I'm walking down Gasoline Alley and I've got fans yelling at me and stuff. I respected all of it. I loved it. I thought it was it was so electric being a Knicks fan in that. But I've actually never been in that environment. But I bet you bottom dollar, if I had won the 500 that day, I was going to that game with my Knicks gear on and showing myself up on the board like Below did. I would have been the most hated individual in Indy, but look, that's why it was never meant to be, probably. But I get a lot of stick from the fans about that, about not being a Pacers fan. But the reason I'm a Knicks fan, I've been a Knicks fan since I was a little kid. My parents went over to New York, put me back in Jersey, the whole deal, and that's sort of how it sort of came about. And then I just followed basketball. It was one of the only American sports you can watch in New Zealand at that time.
Yeah.
I loved that. And then Mets because of my wife, which has been a little bit of a heartache over the last few years. And then Panthers, I wanted to support the home team. But when I support a team, I'm locked in. Everyone's like, oh, why are you supporting the Panthers? Go support the Bucks or anyone else. I don't know. And I was like, nah, I'm in. I'm in, and it's gonna be good. The ride is gonna be great. So, and that's what the Knicks are like right now. The Knicks are very good. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah. In regards to the Panthers, you're locked in, and you're going to keep pounding.
Oh, I'm gonna hashtag keep pounding. Yeah, I'm gonna keep pounding my fist into a wall because they suck. Yeah, that's literally
They're 500 right now. They're not terrible.
Oh, yeah, 500. We're barely 500. I hope we're we definitely need to work on a few things. Look, I'm excited for what's ahead, but we ain't a juggernaut. I'll give you that.
Any plans to go to a Knicks game before the season starts?
Yep. So I'm going to go around Thanksgiving. They've got a game here in Charlotte, so I always like going and see them when they're in Charlotte, which is great. Went to MSG last year. MSG is unreal. Love that place. Incredible place in New York to go watch a ball game, basketball game. But yeah, no, I'm trying to get to a Panthers game as well. So I'm sort of working on a few of those. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I lived in New York for 11 years. Absolutely loved going to the Knicks games.
Nothing like it. Nothing like MSG, man. Nothing.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I really loved your interview at the beginning of last season on the facility on Fox Sports. And you seem to also have a lot of fun there. First of all, I think it's awesome that Fox Sports is investing both time and not just into buying in the IndyCar series, but also making more of an effort to buying part of it, but also making an effort to promote it across their networks. As a football fan, how much fun was it to be interviewed by Shady McCoy, LaShawn McCoy, and then diss him on live TV when he asked if he had a chance of beating you in a race?
Oh, I'm just I'm a bit of a smart ass. So I sort of if someone is a bit of a smarty to me, I'll give it straight back. And I just called him out. And it was funny because my Jackman in the team is a massive Eagles fan and whatever, and obviously a big Shady guy and big fan of his, and he's like, oh man, you're gonna get interviewed by him, it's gonna be awesome, I hope it's good, and I'm like, yeah, I just dissed him, I just said that he wouldn't be able to hang, but I think Shady really liked it. Immediately we've hooked up on Instagram, and he's a really 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 nice guy.
That's awesome. How is your golf game currently?
My handicap's a 6.2.
That's awesome. And what is your favorite course you've ever played? Is it Augusta?
It is Augusta. That's the best. That is by far the best course I've ever played.
Do you get an opportunity to play with other drivers in the IndyCar paddock?
I've started to. When I first came here, barely anyone played. And I think people have started taking, not because of me, but like just genuinely during the month of May, I would go out there, and then people would see me out there with their families, and like, oh, maybe I should get the golf club. And then I think, and more people started playing golf, and
Yeah.
yeah. So now I play with Lundgaard. I played with Rahal a bunch of times, but Lundgaard's probably the main guy I played with. More often than not, Herder plays a little bit, but he's gone now.
Yeah.
But yeah, fun.
Christian Lundgaard mentioned that he plays Brickyard Crossing with you quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you say is the best golfer out of all the drivers in IndyCar currently?
I'm going to say myself, but Rahal would have something to say about that. I think.
So
Yeah.
Graham did say he was not humble at all. He was like,
No.
I'm by far the best golfer.
I think if Graham had the time, like a bit more time, he goes, "Oh, I'm always you get so much time on your hands. Your wife's the same for you. You play so much and whatever." It's all about management. But when I played with Graham, like he can hit the ball a mile.
Yeah.
Very, very, really effortless, really good swing. Both times we've played, he's beat me, and it pisses me off. So I've only played with him twice, so I got to get out there with him a bit more.
We're going to wrap this up with some rapid fire questions. Should take like 5 minutes or so.
Cool.
What is your favorite IndyCar track that you've driven?
Oval, Indy, and Laguna Seca probably as a road course.
Okay. Where would you love for IndyCar to go next?
Australia.
I love that. I think I know the answer to this because I've seen you answer this question in other interviews, but what's the weirdest thing you've ever signed?
I've signed someone's leg, like that fake leg. They pulled it off and put it on the table at the time, and then they just clipped it back on. It was impressive. I loved it. So it was great. And the guy was like, "This is gonna be the weirdest thing you ever signed." I'm like, "Yep." It's not weird. It was just like it blew my mind. Like it was just impressive. Yeah.
What I want to know is, did this guy have a ton of signatures on this leg, or was this exclusively going to be a Scott McLaughlin signed leg?
No, so he got that. So it was a guy in Australia, and he got it signed. It was a beautiful like carbon fiber like leg, and he like must have cleared over the top because the next day he came back and it was like he said it was tattooed. Like the guy was hilarious, and I was like, and I was like, it was all like properly like cleared over and like looked like someone had like sort of gone over it. It was pretty cool.
I love it. Aside from anyone on your team at Team Penske, which pit crew would assemble IKEA furniture the fastest?
Say that question again. I'm sorry.
Okay. I don't want you to say any of the cars at Team Penske because I don't want you to have a bias, but which pit crew in IndyCar would assemble IKEA furniture the fastest?
Either one of the Swedes. So let's go with like Rosenquist crew probably. Yeah.
That answer is apt. You're going on a road trip with any three IndyCar drivers. Who is in your car with you?
Okay. It's a good one. I think, well, I'm going to keep Herder in there because it was this year. Herder, there's like a lot of like good familiar faces in there. Let's go Herder, Kirkwood, and Lundgaard because he plays golf. And I know all three of those guys play golf, so that's a good thing.
Nice. What is the last show that you binged when you should have been sleeping?
The Challenge. So I'm still MTV The Challenge. I watched this season. I'm like, how did I miss this show? It's elite. And now I'm watching like shows from like 07 and 08, and then probably before that was Jersey Shore. So I'm on a bit of a MTV kick. I only just started watching Jersey Shore like last year, so it's incredible.
I remember you talked about that in interviews. Did Paulie D ever respond to your DM?
Yeah, he did. He did. He was in Charlotte not long ago. I didn't like get a chance to go to his gig or whatever, but he's like a big DJ now. Like it was, but it was dude, some of the like I can't believe I missed a lot of the Jersey Shore stuff because it's so funny. And I think
Jersey Shore was really big when I was in college, and a
The
part of
fashion
me
and like
growing up.
it's,
Yeah.
but it's crazy like seeing how they get bigger and bigger as the show goes on. Like,
Yeah.
they got more security and all that stuff. So just crazy trash TV.
But I love it. It's great.
Yeah, it's
It's a
awesome.
guilty pleasure.
So
There's
American.
something there's something very relaxing about watching other people be super stressed.
Yes. Yes. 100%.
Hollywood is making a movie about your life and career. Who is playing you?
Wow. I don't know. Let, who's the dude that I love on the bear? The bear. Oh,
Are you talking
just
about
the
Cousin?
yeah. It's bear. It's the bear. Like I like him as an actor. Bear. Like
Oh, the main
uh,
guy,
yeah. Oh, geez, I know his name. It's off the top of
Jeremy
my
Allen
head.
White.
That's him. That's him.
Yeah,
Jeremy Allen White. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I like his acting, and I watched him on Shameless and stuff like that. He's a so yeah. Let's go with him.
I love it. What is the best fast food chain in America?
There's a lot.
Yeah,
um, I love going to California and getting in and out.
yeah. In-N-Out's great.
Mm.
What is your order at In-N-Out?
Uh, double animal style with animal fries and a
Nice.
vanilla shake.
Love it.
Normally after a race.
Once you can put on the pounds.
Yeah.
Uh, who is the most famous person in your phone?
Oh, geez, I don't know. Who is the most famous person on my phone? That would be class. Probably, let's go with Milo. Ve- uh, I don't know his last name. Milo. He plays. He's a character on This Is Us, a TV show. But he was at the Indy not long ago, and we hooked up.
Wasn't he
Oh,
also the star of Art of Racing in the Rain?
yeah, that's him. That's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Either him or well, if you go like if you want to be like into social right now with Barstool and stuff, probably Josh Richards, the TikTok guy.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, got drunk at a club one day and managed. He's like, yeah, let's get your number. I'm like, all right, all right, boom. And we just like traded text and never text him again. So yeah,
Do you actually read the comments on your posts on social media?
um, not during the race weekend, maybe after.
Okay.
Sometimes I do, but not like, yeah, don't read too much.
Yeah.
On my
I gotta
YouTube,
say,
I do though. On my YouTube channel, I do. I
okay,
respond to a lot of my YouTube. I'm more for engagement, but I think it's cool. Yeah.
that's awesome. I gotta say, I know you've now been in IndyCar for a number of seasons. I know there's still a lot you want to accomplish in IndyCar, winning an NTT IndyCar Series championship. I know you want to win an Indy 500, but looking back, pulling out and just looking at broad strokes, like where your life is today, it in judging by like the different interviews that you've had, it feels like you're living the dream. You've always wanted to live in the United States.
Mhm.
You've been obsessed with American culture since you were a kid, and you're
Yeah.
here. You're doing it. You're in, one of the most prominent figures in American open wheel racing, living in the States. You're an American citizen. I don't know. It feels like you're living the dream. Do you feel like
Yeah.
does it feel like that for you?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I think that's why I have such a I'm very I have a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and it's not that I'm not serious. Like I am very serious about my trade and doing well, but at the same time, I felt like this is such a cool time for me in my career and my life that I've done a lot of cool things and did a lot of the things that I wanted to do in Australia. And ultimately, when I first become a race driver, I wanted to be a supercar driver. I wanted to win Bathurst and want to win a championship. And
Yeah.
now this for me, when I first came here, I said to myself like, right, I don't know how long I'm going to do this for. Like, am I going to be here for 3 years, 15 years? I hope it's the latter.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have a blast doing it, and I'm just glad everyone sort of enjoyed that and come along for the ride.
That's awesome. Well, Scott McLaughlin, driver of the number 3 Team Penske Chevrolet. I'm going to give you a half thumb and a to the moon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Can't be
taking
too
the time to
aggressive.
talk.
Like if you go that's too obnoxious, you know, like a little like a little one of those. So you're right, you know. You can't trust anyone that does that. Like that's too much for me. So
I will say I do that on social media, but like I do it like with like a deadpan look on my face.
No, that's what I mean. You're like, you know, like if someone does that, like it's for me, it's a serial killer. So like you've got to be so aggressive. Yeah.
But this was awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk.
No worries, James. Thanks for having me.